Hi, folks. We're having some technical difficulties. Not sure what's happening there, but appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And we're going to keep rolling. Micah was in the middle of showing us some good stuff in My UK, and so I'll turn things back over to our guests.
Stephanie, do you want to talk about Major Map first, and then we'll keep going with Micah?
Okay, sure, we can do that. So each program at UK has a major map. Those are accessible in My UK in the registration area. And if a student has, two majors, then there's two maps there to kind of help them see, in a um, example situation, how a student can come in and move through their degree on the 4-year timeline. So these are kind of guides that students can use as a reference, but they can also pull up major maps for other programs. So if they're interested in thinking about, adding a minor or a major in some, a major in another area, they can see the major map for that too, and kind of get some ideas about what classes are required, and things like that. And so we can actually even plan recommendations for students using that major map. And so our advisors kind of use that to keep track, and make sure that folks are on a 4-year timeline.
And it's really important, as Stephanie is talking about the major map, that the major map right now is only fall and spring, okay? And we know a lot of our students go to school in the summers as well. And we don't, one of the reasons why major map is helpful, but we don't want students feeling like they're off track, because you do have fall, spring, summer. And some of our students and their families think it's best for them to take less credits in a fall or a spring because they're going to make it up in the summer. So I wanted Stephanie to make sure she mentioned it, but also sometimes we have students who feel immediately that they're behind when what's best for them is to maybe take less and then pick some things up in the summer, whether it's at UK or it's at home at their local community college. So really good point. Micah?
Yes, so to jump back into the degree audit, this is where you can see where all of your completion is, and you can also update it as you plan and register for classes as you go out through. Now, we will get into the what ifs. So the What Ifs is an amazing tool that I personally have been using since I got here at the University of Kentucky. It essentially is a tool to help you understand how far you would be if you were to gain either a certain program or certificate, or if you are an honor student, how many credits you have that you need to fulfill to be an honor student. We also have the ability to test out other majors and minors through this process. And you can see how far you would be completed through the classes that you've already have signed up for. So if you would like to request a major or a minor change, this is also another tool that will be helpful throughout your journey at UK, that essentially you can go in with your advisor, or you can go in by yourself and say that, hey, I started off with a microbiology minor and I've talked to a few professors, and somehow that minor is no longer for me. So I can go into the major and minor request change and request to be put in a psychology minor. And all you have to do is just write a small little spiel that will go over to your advisor about why you want to join this major or minor, and how this will be successful to you, enhancing your time at UK.
Stephanie, can you remind folks some major minor requirements that may limit the ability to just select a major or a minor, and in what instances is it a little bit more complicated?
Yeah, absolutely. So if if a student starts out, for example, in our college, then they will stay here as long as they meet the admissions requirements. But B&E and other programs on campus are what we call selective admissions. And so if a student were to start in as a history major and move to business, there are requirements that they would have to meet in order to get approved to do that. Those are typically grades, GPA, grades in certain types of courses, things like that. And so, you know, when you think about business, engineering, nursing, some of the pre-professional areas, health sciences are places where, you know, a student may not just be able to pick up a major or a minor, and fine arts as well. So there are majors and minors there that require auditions, portfolios of work, and things like that. So really kind of across campus, there are some restrictions here and there. And usually an advisor can help your student kind of discern, you know, which one is going to be a request that I have to do something extra for.
That's right. And to Stephanie's point, Micah did a great job at showing the what if. The what if is so helpful where a student could think, what if I switched from social work to criminal justice? What if I switched from marketing to accounting, right? What would I be further along? What additional courses would I have to take? The key is to make sure that students are doing that and working through that with their advisor, because to Stephanie's point, we have students who are in majors that require a minor. We have students that are in majors that require foreign language. We have students that are in selective majors. So it gets somewhat complicated. We also have students that major is the thing that's driving their scholarship, right? So then they may take on a second major. So those are really important things to be thinking about with your advisor.
So this part of the My UK is essentially to notify both you as a student for as what employment things that are coming out financial wise. So UK also offers a cool program called UK Invest, where essentially where you can turn going to events into money. So luckily enough, I have been involved with the UK Invest, and so I have went after employment opportunities, and I've also been in involvement opportunities, and those will populate here that will go immediately into your bank account. I'm also a peer instructor, so that also comes with scholarships that you can see from here, and you can also see I have also am applying for an education abroad. So that is telling you all the fees that is being put in and out of your account. So back to the degree audit. This is kind of looking a little bit closer into what your degree audit will look like. Everyone's will be a little bit different due to what your major and minor is, and if you are part of any special programs like the Lewis Honors Program. So as you can see that on the top, it does say that I have to require seats requirements of classes that need to be fulfilled before I can request for a graduation from the Lewis Honors, and currently I have 4, but it also tells me that to be in the honors college, I do have to have a minimum of 3.4, and it will also tell me what my current GPA is at the time throughout my time with UK and through the Lewis Honors College, to make sure that I am still making sure that my GPA is on par with that. Then you can also see that there is a 120 or more credit hours required. Currently, I have completed 108 credit hours to fulfill the Honors College requirements. Then, if you go down a little bit, you can see your registered classes. So currently, I am registered for 5 classes that will be applicable to count for my honors college requirements. Then you can also see below that all of the classes that I have completed with success. It will tell you what your grades are. I have been fortunate enough to be a dual credit student, so some of my credits have been transferred, and you'll know through your degree audit if they have successfully transferred. They'll have like a little gray check mark next to those classes to say that they've been properly fulfilled through that respective college or community college. All right, so this is another part of the course planner that you will be able to go in and see what your advisor's recommendations are. So my advisor had recommended me to take Psychology 215 this semester for the fall semester. She has also recommended to take a language class, humanities, and 3 political science courses, which is something that is on the behalf that you can lean more into for guidance. You can also plan courses on your own that you feel like would still align with those things that you need to make sure that you are doing to complete your degree audit in your time at UK. But you could also hit copy to my plan from your advisor's recommendations, and it will move it immediately over to plan courses, and you'll select a section that works best for your schedule. And then once you get to your registration, it'll move it over to the registration part, and both you and your advisor can see any actions that is being made on this page. So it's kind of like a course agreement that is good to use before you go into your meetings with your advisors. Okay, so this is part of my records. You will be using this a lot more than what you would initially think of, because this is the part where you'll be able to request an official transcript for any scholarships, fellowships, or anything that requires an official transcript, or you can also request your unofficial transcript from here. You can also see the academic calendar for the days that we will have on and off school. Then you can also order a letter of good standing if any of your scholarships require that, or a enrollment verification letter that also highlights that you are in good standing and how many classes that you are registered within your college and at the university. Okay, so to schedule classes, essentially you will go through the absolute long list of all the majors and minors that is here. But this is simply a way for you to see what classes you would like to go for in the spring or fall semester, or you can also look at it from the summer or winter courses if that is something that you want to go through and experience. So essentially, you will go up to the course preference, and you will click the drop-down tab. For this example, I use an arts and science class, and you can put if you want a specific number of class. So say that you heard from a friend or family member that a certain class number or section really had like great reviews from the first professor wise, and you really want to take that class, you can enter those numbers into here, and he'll hit search. And you can go down to the bottom half, and you can hide sections that don't fit. You can hide sections and courses on the days that you simply do not want that class. And if you want your classes to be between 8 and 11, 11 to 2, 2 to 5, or after 5 p.m., you can also hit that part, and it will essentially filter through all the classes through those sections and simply put out the best one that fits for your schedule. So another example is that you can see I use my major as political science for this political science one-on-one, that this is a class that you can see that for me, I have either it does not fit my current schedule or it will fit your schedule. It'll tell you the date, time, location, whether it is in person or if it's not in person, the days and times of it. It will also tell you the location of the building and what classroom and the instructors. So this is another part of the degree plan that you can do where you can plan out these courses and also register for these courses, seeing that they best fit. Typically, you will see both green check marks if they will fit your schedule and have seats open. Even if there is a wait list for the class, you can still register and plan for the class, but simply it will just put you in a queue. And as you go through, they'll wait and put you into that class as seats open.
One really important thing is, let's say your student wants section 003 and they hit this blue plan button, then this will go into the planner that we were looking at here. So then it will be listed in the plan section. So when the student meets with the advisor can see what the student planned, the actual sections, and when it comes time to register, you just register for the courses that you've planned. Mike, is that right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Stephanie, did we miss anything? Queen of all things business advising?
No, I don't think we did. Sorry, I couldn't find mute for some reason. I don't, it's not like we've been using Zoom for 5 years or anything. It's fine.
Barely, ever do we Zoom. So quickly about holds. So Micah showed back a couple of screens ago where holds are listed. So if a student doesn't have holds, it's going to be green, okay? If a student has holds, it's going to be red. If a student's going to have important actions, they're going to be yellow, okay? So important actions are just things that students need to do that don't prevent their registration, okay? Holds are typically, the number one hold is your advisor hold, okay? So students have to meet with their advisor to plan their classes in order to have that hold lifted. So this is the time of year students should be meeting with their advisor to do that planning, and then their advisor will lift that hold, do all the things that we talked about, ensure that the students are taking classes that they meet their major map, they meet their goals career-wise, all of the things. Other types of holds is, the other big one is financial. So if a student has a balance over $500 at the university, there'll be a hold and the student won't be allowed to register. The other big hold that sometimes surprises families is the parking and transportation hold. So if you have tickets, okay, those holds are put in place. Students also may have a hold from the Dean of Students office. There are also some holds related to your final high school transcript. So some families will say, well, I thought I sent my transcripts when the student was admitted to Kentucky. The university by law gives students a grace period for the first semester, but by the start of the second semester, we have to verify that the student has a high school diploma or a GED, and that comes on the final high school transcript. There are also some courses that are virtual that last about half hour, 45 minutes, that students have to take as required by law. So it's a sexual assault prevention course called SAP You Hold, and then alcohol and drug prevention course that students have to take before their second semester. Those holds are there. And then the athletics inventory course that is required by the NCAA. That is just a quick, do you agree to are you participating in intercollegiate sports? Yes or no? Okay. Those are the kinds of holds, and advisors assist with all of those holds and can get you to the campus resources to assist with those. There are other important actions related to college transcripts, dual enrollment, those kind of things that don't prevent registration, but they're important things that students and their families may see. And then the key is, do not wait if your student has a hold. Start with their advisor. they're your person, whether the hold is related to advising or not, they can get you connected with the people that are there to help. There is always a phone number and most often an email listed next to that hold. Follow up with this office. Make sure your student is doing that. Reminder, parents and families, if you are not the FERPA designee, you can't do that for your student, okay? The student accounts office isn't going to tell you anything, right? Financial aid isn't going to tell you, the dean of students. So if you're not a FERPA designee, that's not going to be available, okay? Working with your advisor is key. And then we're going to talk quickly about Getting Classy, which is our campus-wide registration party. So every year, every semester, the University of Kentucky hosts an event called Getting Classy, which is designed to demystify the registration process. This is confusing and stressful for our families. It's also confusing and stressful for our students, right? And so we want to make this easier for our students. This year, Getting Classy is November 18th through 22nd. That's the week before Thanksgiving. That's when the majority of our first-year students will register. Getting Classy is for several things. So your student can come there if they have any type of hold to get help by all of the partner offices we mentioned. All of the advisors from every college will be on hand in the Student Center or in the 90, Monday through Thursday in the Student Center, Friday in the 90 and in the Student Center, okay? If your student is planning to register and registers one of those days, have them come to the Student Center or the 90 and the advisors will be on hand because the classes they planned may be full. And so Stephanie and her team will be there, a team from the College of Arts and Sciences, every college. And so that advisor can then say, okay, this was full, let's help you find something else, okay? And then the other goal is to verify that your student didn't make a mistake. We know in college time is money and folks are paying for this stuff. So our goal is to get professional staff eyes on your student schedule so that you as a family can enjoy Thanksgiving and be sure that the courses that your student picked aren't just because their friend told them. We got a professional staff member's eyes to make sure, okay, this was full, I took the right thing. And each student will get a verification sticker. We will also have housing. You all know that housing is a big deal. The housing application for 25-26 went up, Nancy, what, 2 weeks ago, I think. So Res Life and Housing will be on hand to assist with that as well. And every single office that has holds, including financial aid, ombud, student accounts, will be on hand. It is all there to do that and to make it easier and less stressful for our students, as well as families feeling like they've got to be the ones that do that. Y'all pay us a lot of money. Our job is to be there to handle these things for you. Getting Classy is a fun way to do that. Finally, as a parent or a family member, what you need to be looking for is that your student attended Getting Classy. They will have one of these verified stickers to prove it. And they will also have a super cool crew neck sweatshirt. So our goal is to advertise and create positive peer pressure on the importance of registering. Giving them a cool sweatshirt does that. Please encourage them to come to Getting Classy that week, whether they register that week or before that, to have their schedule verified and double check. And then you can also take a look at that verification sticker yourself. Nancy, I think we're ready for questions, my friend.
All right, thank you for all that good information. We do have a couple of questions in the Q&A, and if others out there have questions, now's the time to go ahead and put them in that Q&A feature. So our first question says, we already sent our final high school transcript, but we still have a hold. Since it did not arrive the first time, can you confirm where it needs to be sent?
Stephanie, you want to take that?
Yep, I'm on it. So transcripts for final high school, anything can be sent to documents@uky.edu. So it's documents, plural, at uky.edu. And those will get reviewed and applied. If you have a confirmation email of some sort from what you use to send the transcripts, like if you use Parchment, or something like that, then that confirmation, if the student sends that to us, we can work with admissions and make sure that we can, dig it out of the digital closet that it's hiding in, and get it where it needs to go.
Yeah, it's all of the documents that we are constantly getting. So we're getting university transcript, college transcripts, and evaluating them, not just from the country, but for the world. We are constantly admitting students as well. So that takes a little longer. If you have your students send their verification to their academic advisor or to the university advising email that I put in the chat, we will make sure and double check that that is surfaced in the best way we can.
All right, our next question says, if a student has an earlier registration window due to honors athlete registered with the Disability Resource Center, however, listed on the planning page, it has a different later scheduling date and time listed, how do you get that corrected? It says she seems to be going in circles a bit on who to ask.
Again, I think usually an advisor can help with that. It's just a question of making sure that the registrar's office has the right information. So, I mean, there's tons of students and they program these registration windows in a couple months ahead of time, but there's always going to be a miss here or there where someone accidentally gets the wrong date put in or something like that. So we can definitely reach out to the registrar on behalf of your student and make sure that we get that information updated.
Yeah. Bottom line for almost every question, have your student contact their primary academic advisor. If that is because our primary academic advisors have a lot of students, if you aren't getting movement on that quickly enough, university advising at uky.edu. And then what I will do is then give that inquiry directly to the advising director or assistant dean in that college. Okay, and we'll make sure we take care of that.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions in the Q&A right now, so we'll give folks one more minute or so to get anything in. But while we're doing that, if anyone has final tips or words of advice or wisdom as we go into this season, I know students have a lot on their minds. It's midterms. They're already thinking ahead to next semester with the classes they want to take in next year's housing. They have a lot on their minds. So any words of wisdom based on your experiences, Adam and Stephanie, with your careers here at UK, and Micah from a student standpoint? Would love to hear those thoughts.
Absolutely. I think especially for our first year students, this being the first time that they register for classes completely on their own, take some deep breaths and it'll all work out. Typically we get students in everything they need. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease. But I know it can be nerve-wracking for students. I also know that some students aren't ready to even think about registering for next semester's classes because they're so involved in, getting through midterms and things like that. And then some students don't feel like they have enough time to spend with their advisor right now. So we see students all year long, even in the summer. So there's always an opportunity for a student to come in when it's not registration prep season, to have more conversations about long-term planning and things like that. So just if your student is stressed, then we can try to help alleviate some of those concerns and the anxiety.
I love it. Stephanie, do you know how a person eats an elephant? Do you know that? How does a person eat an elephant?
One bite at a time, sir.
You got it. So that's the recommendation, right? The reason we do get in classy is that this is stressful. Adulting, your students are realizing, because I have kids this age, right? Is forever they wanted to be adults until you become an adult. And you're like, can I be in sixth grade again, right? And so this is a lot. And this is happening at a really tough time. I mean, the first couple of weeks of school, it was just swimming in the pool. And now we're at midterm this week. And we're having huge things happening in this country in the next couple of weeks. And so to add this is a lot. And so what I always encourage students to do is just take one step at a time. Meet with your advisor. If you have a hold, contact your advisor. If your advisor isn't responding as fast as you would like, you can loop university advising in and we'll try to support that. And then I think in the end is making sure whenever your registration window opens that you register. And then the key is we wouldn't be doing Getting Classy and investing the time, talent, resources in it if it wasn't necessary. And so encouraging your student to come to Getting Classy the week of the 18th through the 22nd, just say, did you get your free sweatshirt? Have them swing by, get eyes on it, have them register on site there so that they don't even have to think about it before. Just show up with your little laptop or your UK iPad and we can help you do it. Our goal is to make this as least of a stress as possible on students and their families, because oftentimes families are the ones that are hearing all the stress. And so the biggest thing to do is say to them, hey, have you met with your advisor? And hey, you know about that Getting Classy thing that's happening the 18th through 22nd? You need to swing by and check it out. That's really important because then we can really make sure that we're supporting them through a process in a really, really stressful time. Micah, recommendations, my friend? Tips?
Yes, yes, yes. So I would say that to make sure as you're doing your time here at UK, it is essential to lean on all resources. We do have CARES, First Gen. We also have the MLK Center. We have the LGBTQ Plus Center. A lot more support systems in place to support students. And honestly, it helps out the most if you reach out to someone else that is higher up in level for as class rankings that can help you and support you picking out the best classes. Sometimes as first year students, we are unsure of what classes are the best ones to take for our major, far as professor wise, what their thoughts and opinions are. As nerve-wracking as it is, there is people out here that can support you outside of your advisors. If you can't get a hold of them in time, that there is systems in place to also help you with that. Another thing is when you do have your first set of recommend classes and you're getting more into your possible major classes, or you're taking your UK core classes, you can simply ask the professor for course recommendations, or they can simply refer you to a student that they trust that's in that major or minor, or they can point you to their TA and they can also help support you in those classes.
Yeah, Micah, that's brilliant, right? I mean, the upperclassmen are a huge resource. TAs are a huge resource. RAs, we do extensive training with our RAs on campus to give them enough information to be dangerous, right? It's the reason we asked Micah to kind of take the most time, because there's nothing better. The best part of the Getting Classy event is we have other students that are there helping students register. It's one thing when someone old like me tries to do it, but when another student does that, it is super helpful. Leaning on those resources and talking to people is really, really critical, and doing it before all of the things become a thing. That's really important. Thank y'all. Nancy?
That was good advice. Appreciate you all. And if you wouldn't mind advancing to the next slide, I'll wrap us up. We appreciate you joining us for this Cat Chat Live webinar. We're continuing to add additional webinar dates throughout the fall semester. Our next one coming up is on National First Generation College Celebration Day, which is November 8th. And so at noon Eastern Time, we'll be with my colleagues, wonderful folks from the CARES First Generation office, to talk about how UK supports the 25% of our students who are the first in their family to attend college. We're amazingly proud of them. They are trailblazers for themselves and their families, and we celebrate them throughout the school year, but particularly on First Generation College Celebration Day. And so we encourage you to make plans to attend that webinar. You can register through our Cat Chat family community. It's also where you'll find all of the recordings of our previous Cat Chat Live webinars. We know folks are busy and can't always join us live, and so all of those recordings are available if you ever need to refer back to them or catch one that you may have missed. On the next slide, you'll see a little bit more information about the Cat Chat family community, our hub for parent and family communications at the university. We hope that you will take the time to customize your experience in there. Hopefully you're already getting our email newsletters. You can get them as often as weekly. You can also discover communities there. So if you want to hear more about UK athletics, or if you want to hear more for students, families of students who are living off campus or on campus or for a certain class year, you can tell us all of those things and we can get you more custom targeted information in your email newsletters. It's a place that you can ask questions of any of the content that you see, and that you can share with your student or invite others in your family to join as well. So it's really been a wonderful resource for our parents and families, and I hope you're taking full advantage of it. Well, we have spent our hour together today. We very much appreciate your time. Adam, Stephanie, Micah, thank you so much for your time as well. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and go Cats. Bye, everyone.